One wise person said this: if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go further, go together. The secret of life is, everybody, we need to be surrounded by great people. And the Apostle Paul knew this. When he wrote to the church at Philippi, he wrote about a person that he wanted to send back to them. And that person was called Epaphroditus. And this is what Paul says in Philippians 2, verse 25. He says, "But I think it necessary to send back to you Epaphroditus." And this is what he says about him: "My brother, co-worker, and fellow soldier." Did you hear that, everybody? That's what we need in our lives. You need people. I need people in my life that are going to be brothers, co-workers, and fellow soldiers. Brothers that are going to hug us and love us. Co-workers that are going to get the job done. But you know what? Fellow soldiers that are going to fight on our behalf. I need friends like that. And guess what? I need to be a friend like that in life. But Paul doesn't stop there. He says this in verse 26. "For he longs for all of you and is distressed because you heard he was ill. Indeed, he was ill and almost died." Just stop there for a moment. You know what I love about this passage of Scripture? Because I love this here. The Apostle Paul shows that Epaphroditus was human, everybody. I mean, this was a man of God. He was one of Paul's trusted servants. And even though Paul had seen so many people healed, this guy was with Paul and he almost died. And I wish that every single person I prayed for got immediately healed. But that's not the reality, everybody. There's some people, they suffer. And this guy almost died. And this is something that speaks so loud to me. We've been studying the book of Acts as a church. And actually it reveals this here, that there's some people escape the sword by faith, and there's other people endure the sword by faith. There's some people get healed, and there's some people receive the ultimate healing, which is heaven itself. And always remember this: heaven is not a punishment. Heaven is our ultimate healing from God. But here was the good news. It says, "But God had mercy on him, and not only on him, but also on me, to spare me sorrow upon sorrow." I just think this is incredible. "Therefore, I am all the more eager to send him, so that when you see him again, you may be glad, and I may have," look at this here, "less anxiety." Oh, this is a brilliant passage of Scripture. We find out that Epaphroditus had an illness. Oh, Christians aren't meant to be sick. No, that's not true, everybody. And Paul had anxiety. This was the guy that says in Philippians chapter 4, don't be anxious about anything. But there's a balance to Scripture. Paul says, I did have some anxiety. I do have some anxiety. And if you're anxious today, you're in good company. The Apostle Paul, he had anxiety. And what was one of the ways of solving the anxiety? Yes, in chapter 4, he says, you know what? Try and swap it out with prayer and petition and get the peace of God. But the other way that Paul treated his anxiety was he surrounded himself with great people. So today, if you're feeling sick, and today, if you're feeling anxious, get on the phone, get your people around you, surround yourself with them, and before you know it, you know what? Your illness might not have gone, your anxiety may not go, but the levels begin to change. Hope comes into your life, and those people are going to help you on your journey day by day. I love the Scriptures. I love God's servant. At the end of the day, we're all human. And at the end of the day, yes, we need God, but we need some other humans in our lives. Call them today.